As the prophet of esports, I rely on trustworthy and meaningful data every day. Data from our research partner YouGov offers the most complete view of esports fans and gamers in the world, providing context to who they are, what they think, the brands they buy, and things they do. YouGov's connected insights and research services inform strategy at every level. If you're a team, a brand, agency, or rights holder, you should be talking with YouGov. Their partners measure and maximize ROI and are telling compelling stories with data. Visit yougov.com/gaming-esports to learn more.
Let me just first bring up, I think, the biggest news, because all the reviews dropped this week, and that is the Valve's new console, essentially the Steam Deck. So this article here, this headline from IGN, the headline is, Gabe Newell sees Steam Deck as having an impact like the iPhone on PC gaming. And the subheadline is, and it only gets better from here on out for PC gamers. So Steam Deck officially released. All the reviews are crazy good. Like basically everyone has said this is the, sort of the second coming of Christ. And demand supposedly sky high. Everyone, there's a ton of pre-orders that they're fulfilling. But basically what they're saying, at least Valve believes, and Gabe Newell believes, that this portable device is essentially the future of PC gaming, because all of your Steam games, according to him, you will be able to run on your Steam Deck, right? So it'll be like having a $500 PC in your hands, and still able to play all of your PC games. So curious, what do you guys think? You think this is, I joked about Stadia when they got on stage and they talked about the future of gaming. Is this the future of gaming? Is this where we see PC gaming going? And what do you guys think of the initial impressions of the Steam Deck?
It's not the future of gaming, but it is a great product. And I think it does make gaming a bit more accessible where you're able to play it. I think all of us were pretty bullish on this when it was first announced back, I believe, in the fall. So I think we still are bullish, and the reviews sort of prove that out, that we as a group were collectively pretty right. It's not going to revolutionize things, but I think it's a creative product that's a useful piece of the gaming ecosystem where people can now take more hardcore PC games and kind of bring them on the go. So kudos to Steam for executing.
Yeah, I mean, I know Jeff, being the hardcore PC gamer that he is just been over the moon over having access to his whole Steam library in this extremely
massive Steam library.
It's a game changer.
Yeah. No, but in all honesty, I do think that this is really cool. I'm both surprised and not surprised that it's a smash hit. I'm surprised because Steam has tried to put out consoles before and it hasn't necessarily been the most successful. And I'm also not surprised because I think the Switch and some other, even mobile gaming, gave kind of a better blueprint for what people might be looking for. So they're able to take an idea and iterate and make it even better, which is somewhat easier than coming up with your own console and coming up with your own handheld console and coming from nothing. So,
I mean, two questions for you guys. And Jimmy, I'm curious to get you in on this. Like, first of all, does anyone think that, is anyone bearish on Steam Deck for whatever reason, and maybe one particular aspect of it? But the second question that I've been hearing, right, like the whispers that I hear around Steam Deck is, this is the first time that Nintendo could be in trouble from a console perspective. Like, does anyone think, now that we've seen it, now that the reviews are good, now that we know, and let me just answer Owen's question here. He says, I thought Destiny was not ported to the deck. Owen, you're right. So the way they're launching is there's like games that are certified to work on Steam Deck. There's a group that they're not sure may work. And then there's a group that are totally unsupported and basically they know won't work. So the goal, I think Gabe Newell has said, is to make sure eventually every Steam game runs on Steam Deck. Every Steam game runs on Steam Deck. But day one, that's not the case. So anyone think this is a real challenge to Nintendo?
Absolutely. I mean, the first thing I did this weekend at least, because, Elden Ring is a massive success, right? Everyone's talking about it. You can't get away from it. looks great. I haven't gotten it yet. I'm looking forward to playing it and just getting that free time. The first thing I did was like, hey, is this available on Switch? Because I could just play in bed while I'm, and it's not, right? And in so many games you see that Switch isn't supporting, or for whatever reason they're just not going there. But I'm gonna play it on my Steam Deck, right? I mean, that might be a ways out, and I might have to wait a bit for that. But that was like indicative, I think, of the larger issue that Steam Deck solves, and that's that there's a huge library of games that hardcore gamers or longtime gamers. I mean, I've had a Steam account for over 15 years, right? And I'm sure other people, gaming's aging up, and I know there's a massive young community that's just starting, but this is, again, a massive community with older gamers as well, that I think, like you said, Paul, if they could solve that issue on what's compatible, which I think they'll spend a lot of time and money doing, because it just that makes sense to make it this savior, right? This save all, this capture all. I don't know. I feel like they took a page out of Xbox and PlayStation with the backwards compatibility, and seeing what a massive success that was to keep loyalty amongst the progressive generations. So if Steam Deck can provide that same support, where it's other handheld, because you got to compare it to other handheld competitors, right? Because it's really an add-on accessory for hardcore gamers. So there's nothing stopping a PlayStation or an Xbox owner from having one. It's really just redundant, I think, of a Switch or something else.
So you don't think that there's any cannibalization, Jimmy? You don't think anyone will second guess buying a Switch as a consequence of the Steam Deck existing?
That's what I'm saying. I think the Steam Deck's going to dominate, or rather take market share from the Switch.
Okay, so
I do not.
Why?
Because I think that the Nintendo's never, third-party software on Nintendo has never really been a big thing. People buy Nintendo consoles to play Nintendo games. The only two times Nintendo's really been in trouble was Nintendo GameCube and Nintendo and the Wii U, when they put out consoles that completely bombed. The Switch has sold incredibly well. It has a massive install base. Their games are super popular. I think the next time Nintendo will potentially be in trouble is the next console that they go to launch, just because it seems like every other console they launch is a flop. But that, to me, doesn't have anything to do with the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck is a great piece of hardware, and it will be great for, hardcore gamers like yourselves who want to play Apex Legends on the go, want to play Elden Ring, stuff like that. That's not who's buying the Switch. Who's buying the Switch is people who want to play Super Mario and want to play, Zelda and stuff like that. And until those games come out on Steam Deck, people are going to want to buy the Switch. So tell me when that happens, and then I'll be worried about Nintendo.
Lindsay, can you kick Jeff under the chair for me right now?
I'm on Jeff's side. I don't know what to do with this. I mean,
isn't there, like, at some point people just stop caring about the 200th Mario game that's exactly the same as the 199th Mario game?
Listen, Paul, I'm people and I won't stop caring.
Fair.
Apologies, but it's true. No, I do think that they're actually quite different markets. I think that a lot of probably hardcore gamers, I think you will see a small drop in Switch for sure, because I think a lot of hardcore gamers have been looking forward to something like the Steam Deck coming out and actually being able to replace the Switch, a la Jimmy's story there. But I think for the most part, they are actually really different audiences. And I think that there's room for both to be successful. So small amounts of competition, but I don't think it's huge.
Let me just get caught up
I don't have great eyesight. On
the comments
but
so
I
Owen
like
says,
I just got owned by Kevin.
Jeff and Lindsay, be honest, how many tabs do you see on Paul's screen?
Oh my
this
God.
is nothing.
Countless.
This is nothing.
Countless. And there's multiple windows.
It's got to be 75 plus.
I already know that there's multiple windows here. Like, there's also multiple screens. A whole lot.
This is nothing.
I saw Paul's email inbox, by the way, last week. Tens of thousands.
39,000. I got a brief glimpse.
Are you looking at it right now?
Owen says, I thought Destiny. Yeah, I read that one. Sorry. Wani says, hello, Wani. Welcome.
Hey,
Great
Wani.
to have you here. Kevin says, if true, that would mean the future of gaming is controller greater than mouse and keyboard. Look, what I wonder with this is, in some ways, I actually think I'd rather see a successful Steam Deck than I'd rather see successful mobile games. Do you know what I mean? Like, meaning like a game you play on your phone. I've always tried to make the argument that it's the gateway drug. Eventually, people like level up and want a gaming PC for the experience. And I feel like there's a big gap though, right? There's a big jump with Steam Deck. Yeah, you might play some games on your Steam Deck and you're going to use the controller, and you might be used to controller, but you're going to want to level up to a mouse and keyboard and a full-blown gaming PC. I think it's more of a gateway drug.
Let me just set the scene for all our viewers of where we are right now. We are surrounded by more equipment and hardware than I've ever seen in my entire life. So I am
and it took a half hour to figure out how to make it work.
I am 0% surprised that the guy who loves hardware this much is saying, oh, I don't want these old mobile phones. I can do a bunch of stuff. I want dedicated gaming hardware to be the thing that's the gateway drug.
Look, I will say that if the Steam Deck is massively successful, no question, I think you will have PC gaming see a resurgence, like proper mouse and keyboard PC gaming. Does anyone disagree with that? Because you're going to buy something on Steam to play on your Steam Deck, right? And then it doesn't cost you anything else to go play it on your PC. I look, every time someone says the PC is dead, there's always something that saves it. I don't think it's going anywhere, and I don't think mouse and keyboard's going anywhere. If anything, it's just more people on controller to beat up on in games.
Paul, you know what's going to save it?
What?
Web3 gaming.
Web3 gaming, yeah.
No idea what's coming.
Blockchain fixes this.
Chris says stick drift happens with the Steam Deck too, so no, Nintendo is in no threat. I mean, Chris, that happened with the Joy-Con controllers also. They had their own, Nintendo did have a bunch of controversy around drift with Joy-Con, so that seems to be everyone. Simple Orphan says yes. Owen says, all in shambles after that comment, Kevin. I mean, in shambles if it comes true, but it won't. I mean, when that day comes, and it's never come. Right? I've been hearing this for 20 years. That day's not coming. Wani says, I think it would be a real challenge